Hello, Year 11. Thank you for taking time to look again into our October paper. As you watch the video, please note how I approach questions and how solutions are written down, how answers are checked before moving to the next question, how to use information in the question and the marks that are given for a particular question. Please note that in your real GCSE paper, if you will have 100 marks for the entire paper and only 25 questions, so 25 marks out of 100 will be allocated for correct answers, but 75 marks will be given for everything what you will write in this space provided. Let me show you in this exactly space provided. So please treat this space with respect and write carefully your solutions. I have noticed that in your books you usually write in a very clear, ordered way, so therefore please stop writing in your exam papers your solutions kind of in very random places around the paper, so it was a bit difficult to read your solutions. Remember that 75 marks will be given for everything what you will write before the answer line. So let's start. Here is our first question. Simplify this algebraic expression. Most of you were able to actually to get the right answer in this question. Please note that we start with to simplify means collect like terms. Like terms are terms that have the same combination of letters, right? So therefore let's start from collecting like terms. For example, if I start from A term, so I'm looking where else I have A's. 2A here and minus A here, right? And other like terms would be 3B and minus B. So now we're ready to collect. 2A minus A. There is no number at the front of A. It means it is just one A. So 2A minus A would be equal to 1A. I'm not writing 1A, I'm writing just A. 3B minus B. It means I'm subtracting 1B only. 3B minus 1B is 2B. A plus 2B. Okay, so and here is the answer. A plus 2B. Don't forget to write your expression in the on the line again. So only 1 mark was allocated for only correct answer. That's because question was considered quite simple, right? And expand brackets here. Expand means multiply them out. So we have 4 bracket 2m minus 3n. If we have in algebra, if we have 4 written next to a letter or a bracket, it means it was multiplied out, right? So we've got 4 times 2m minus 3n, which means we've got 4 sets of 2m and 4 sets of minus 3m. So multiplying out 4 by 2m is 8m. 4 minus 3n, positive 4 times negative 3 is negative 12n. And here we write our answer, okay? So be careful with this expanding brackets. Although we haven't made these mistakes, common mistake here usually in exams would be when people were actually multiplying brackets. So let's write our common mistakes in different colors, so you will notice that I'm actually now not writing writing what you shouldn't do in your exam. So here is first common mistake, when people actually multiply out the brackets, but in their head they actually add. So for example, look, when they multiply 4 by 2m, they suddenly get 6m minus, and then perhaps they remember that they need to multiply, so now they multiply 4 by minus 3m. So here you can see there is a mistake, alright? So you need, perhaps the best recipe for this is just work aloud in your head and literally say 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, so that might help. And second mistake, the second common mistake would be when people multiply 4 by 2m correctly, 8m, and then forget about the second term. So 3n, negative 3n, wasn't actually multiplied by 4. Don't make these two mistakes, alright? Never ever. Okay, now let's move to the next question. Question 2. In question 2, unfortunately, many mistakes were made, and so let's discuss this question really in detail, okay? So, question was, work out an estimate for the value of this expression. Give your answer as a decimal. Alright. Don't be afraid to read questions twice or 3 times until you fully understand. Really, there is no shame to read questions several times until you're comfortable with what is expected, okay? Work out an estimate. Work out an estimate. So what do you think is expected? An estimate. They're not really interested in exact value of this expression. So there is no point in any calculation. So I will write here, no calculations, please. Really, no calculations. I mean direct calculations, okay? Do not multiply 6.2 by 0.799 and divide them by 223. Think about these 3 marks. 3 marks means you can't spend more than 3 minutes. So usually the rule is for your exams, how many marks are allocated for every question. That's approximately how much time you should spend on this question. Surely you will not be able to calculate this sum into 3 minutes. Perhaps some of us would be able to, but that's not what is expected in this question, alright? And then give your answer as a decimal. Please note that will be crucial for your answer, right? No fractions, nothing else, just decimal. That's important. And whenever you come to this answer line, always have a habit to come back and read even 4th or 5th time. It doesn't matter, right? You just need to get it right. Okay? Now, once they say about an estimate, that means you must round to one significant figure. Round to one significant figure. Significant figures are all numbers that are not equal to 0. So let's round our numbers to one significant figure. So I would say, right, 60.2 to one significant figure was 60, and well done. Most of you did it correctly, 60. Okay. Lots of problems was rounding 0.799 to one significant figure. One significant figure, let's see, what is the first number which is not equal 0 from the left? 0 is 0, so the first number not equal to 0 is 7, isn't it? So therefore this 7 will stay, only it has to be rounded up since the next digit is 9. So therefore I'm rounding and I'm getting 0.8 divided by a number which is 223. Round it to one significant figure. The first number from the left which is not equal to 0 is 2. So it will be hundreds only, right? And the next digit is 2, which is less than 5. So I'm rounding to 200. Okay? So Now I'm ready to calculate. 60 times 0.8. It's much easier to multiply 0.8 by 10 first and then by 6. When I multiply 0.8 by 10, I'm just moving decimal point to the right once. I'm getting 8. 6 times 8 is 48 over 200. Okay, so that means I'm dividing 48 by 200. What do you think your answer is going to be? Is it bigger than 1, or is it small number, or is it big number? Surely you understand 48 is much smaller than 200, so your answer will be really small. But I'm not talking about what your answer is going to be. You don't need even think to divide 48 by 200 now. Finally, remember, no calculations, please, okay? Proper calculations, I mean. Okay, so let's go back to our question. Give your answer as a decimal. But I'm very close to get my number as a decimal. Look, whenever I have in the denominator part any multiple of 10, that will be really easy for me to write then my fraction as a decimal. So the only thing that is left, let's us write 200 as 100. How? By dividing my fraction by 2. So 42 divided by 2 is 24. 200 divided by 2 is 100. So 24 hundredths is 0.24. Here we are. Here is the correct answer, 0.24. And that's how you do estimation for your calculations. In fact, not only in this calculation, but any further on non-calculator paper, you must use this method to calculate your answer, so you would know what to expect. Okay, now we'll discuss not really efficient method that that you used in your October paper, right? So let's see. I'm changing color to discuss something that we don't want to see in your paper. Okay. One common issue was really struggle with rounding 0.79 to one significant figure. Many people rounded this number to 1 unit. That's not wrong, to 1 unit. Okay, but it's a bit too rough. If you were rounding 60.2 to 60, then I think you still could work with a little bit more accurate estimation as one significant figure rather than 1. As you can see, that significantly changes your answer, because if here instead of 0.8 you would have 1, then this 48 will not appear, right? You will have 60, and then it would be 30 out of 100 here, so it will be 0.3. As you can see, 0.3 is really rough estimation. Okay, so if we will stick to rounding to one significant figure, it will be better for you. Then secondly, another issue was once some people got correct as first step, then suddenly they decided, oh no, 0.8 doesn't look nice, so let's round it again. So they round 0.8 now to 1 over 200. Unfortunately, marks were allocated for 48, and for correct calculation 60 by 0.8, so you're not getting marked there. And actually it wasn't really, again, it's too rough, and you don't need to round twice. You round just once, then calculate, simplify, and you get your estimation. If you keep rounding and rounding and rounding, you can get really big and very rough answer. Okay, so don't do it. That was wrong idea to round it again. And second issue was some people rounded correctly at this step. Okay, and they even got correct answer here, 48 over 200. And then something happened, and they decided to divide 200 by 48 and got answer about 4. So obviously you need to think really carefully what you're doing, and don't be too excited to finish paper early, and think what you're doing. All right, 48 divided by 200. Please stay focused so you would know obviously what you're doing and why. Okay, and then another issue was issue number 4. Some people, although you round it correctly here at this stage, for some reason they stopped rounding denominator parts. Quite a few didn't round actual denominator, and from this point they decided actually to do division and spend lots of time on this division. Really, like, all this paper was covered in their calculations. How much time you spent on this question was really dangerous strategy. You could not calculate anything. Just simplify very quickly, alright? And question done. Okay, now let's move to the next question. The next question is question 3. Unfortunately, lots of marks were lost here, so therefore I advise you to go back to our first homework about how to deal with decimals and to do decimal calculations, and do it again and again and again. Do one more time quiz for decimals and practice basically. Okay, so I would strongly recommend you to start this question from estimation. Fred buys 18 tins of polish costing £2.37 each. Work out the total cost. All of you understood that you need to multiply 2.37 by 18, which is really pleasing. Alright, so but now you understand that's what you are going to do. And I would like you now to estimate your answer approximately. If you would be in a shop and you would think, oh, whether I have enough money to buy all of this, alright, you would do rough estimation. 2.37 is this way equal sign means approximately. It's not exactly equal, it's not exactly the same, so I'm rounding. Okay, to one significant figure 2.37 to one significant figure 18 is 20, so it is approximately 40 pounds, right? 40 pounds. So let's see whether we are getting an answer close to 40. So I understand I need to multiply a decimal by 18. Don't be kind of frightened with this decimal, right? So you can think of 2.37 as 237 and multiply it by 8, but think that 237 is actually 237 divided by 100. So multiply 237 by 18, but only at the end divide your answer by 100 and you'll be there, right? So we multiply 237 by 18. First I multiply by units. So look, what I'm going to do is multiply 237 by 8. And then I will multiply 237 by 10. And then I will add two results. Okay? So 7 times 8 is 56. I'm writing 6 here, and I usually write 5 there, but I know that you used to write 5 somewhere here or underneath somewhere. Please do in the way that you used to. It doesn't matter actually, right? 7 times 8 is 56. 6 here, 5 there. 3 times 8 is 24. 24 plus 5 is 29. 9 here, 2 on top of 2. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 plus 2 is 18. Okay, so we finished multiplying by 8. Now we multiply by 10. 237 by 10 is easy, isn't it? So we write 0 at the end, and multiplying 7 by 1, 7. Multiplying 3 by 1, 3. Multiplying 2 by 1, 2. As you can see, when I was writing my answers, I was lining up already units under units, tens under tens, hundreds under hundreds, thousands are under thousands. So now it's so easy to add, right? Units with units. 6 plus 0 is 6. 9 plus 7 is 16. Okay, 8 plus 1, 9 plus 3 is 12. And plus 1, 4. Okay, so now we've got 4,266. But remember, we need also to divide by 100. And before you will be writing this answer here, look at your estimation, right? So it would be a kind of final check whether we did it correct. Okay, so remember we were actually multiplying 2.37, which is 100 times less. So I'm dividing my answer by 100, so I have 2 decimal places as it was before, right? So my answer really good, and it fits to my estimation, so I should feel pretty confident to write my answer into number line. There is another check that I usually do. You know, sometimes I check my last digit. 8 times 7 is 56. My last digit should be 6. You know, estimation plus last digit check, and you should be okay. Okay. As I said again, if you know definitely you're struggling with decimals, don't put it aside. You need really to work it out. Otherwise, non-calculator paper might be lost for no reason, because you simply didn't master your decimals yet. Okay, so let's move to angles question, which is another thing that you need to take a little bit more seriously than it was before, right? With angles in parallel lines, we come to, perhaps you start thinking, all right, now here we're going to look at corresponding alternate angles somehow, and you need really to take your time to understand what is the difference between those two, and to make it work for you, make a poster, really sit down to make so it would make sense for you. Okay, now I'm reading the question. Find the value of x, and it is 1 mark only. That means number will be up here. All right, so I'm looking for number for my angle x. Here's my angle x, and I'm looking at if there is anything. Since I've got 2 parallel lines, there should be an angle which is exactly equal to my angle. And so you notice 2 parallel lines, and this line crosses those 2 parallel lines. So my angle x is formed from one line and this line. Okay, and so I can see there is another angle, all right, which is formed absolutely in similar way. And so since parallel lines have the same slope, all right, so therefore if they all cross in this line, they form many the same angles. So my x is 150. They didn't ask us for any reasons, so therefore we now free to move to the next question. Find the value of y. Give reasons for your answer. Now that's important, isn't it? They are going to look for your reasons. Look also at the marks allocated. 2 marks. So 1 mark definitely for whatever you write in this answer line, and another mark is for what? For your reason. Okay, let's now find our angle y. Here's my angle y. Oopsie daisy, that's a little bit too much. Here's my angle y, and we're going to look at what any other angle that is connected to my angle y. As you can see, like we notice, right, in these parallel lines I have this line parallel to my, and there is another third line that crosses my 2 parallel lines. So y would be alternate to this angle. Please note, y is not alternate to the angle 85 degrees, as many of you wrote, and you decided that y is 85. That was wrong. Y and this one are alternate, End of story. You need to learn it, okay? So, and then this angle and angle 85 degrees, they form straight line. So therefore, to find my angle y, I will subtract 85 from 180 to find the angle that is alternate to my y, and then I can state that y is whatever is left, 95 degrees, right? Or you can think that 85 is corresponding to this angle. Can you see they are corresponding? This angle and 85, they are corresponding angles. And then this angle and y form straight lines. So it doesn't matter whatever way you prefer. If you work with this angle, make sure you state reason alternate angles and angles at a straight line add up to 180. If you're going to use this angle, then you say that 85 and this angle are corresponding angles, and then you use straight line. Okay, so perhaps it would be a problem for us to say this angle, that angle. So therefore, let's just introduce a letter Z, for example. Okay, if we are going to use this angle, so we say y equals Z equals 180 minus 85 and equals 95 degrees. And now we'll write all the reasons. Y equals Z. What is the reason for that statement? Because their alternate angles are equal, right? Alternate angles are equal. Okay? And what is the reason for this, for the next statement? Angles at a straight line. At a straight line. You will write in full, right? Straight line add up to 180. Add up to 180. And so here is your answer, 95 degrees. Okay? Here is your 1 mark. Here is 1 mark for writing 2 reasons. Okay? Here is question 4. Learn it, do more practice, show me, and hopefully it will be better. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Question 5. In this question, we had a jug, 1.5 liters of juice. So let's read it properly. Okay, there are 1.5 liters of juice in a jug. Liza is going to pour the juice into some glasses. She will fill each glass with 175 milliliters of juice. Record the greatest number of glasses she can fill. Oh, all right. Here, many people reacted immediately to the greatest number of glasses. So our recent work on bounds really wasn't forgotten, right? The only problem is that has nothing to do with bounds at all. Why? Because actually there was nothing about rounded. If I would say 175 milliliters rounded to 1 unit, or then I would understand you would start working with bounds. But you actually reacted to the word greatest number and started to find bounds for no reason actually. So please remember, bounds come only when we talk about rounded answers, and when an answer is rounded, therefore you don't know actually what exact number could be. An exact number could be say, okay, if it would be say 175 milliliters rounded to 1 unit, okay, then in reality, if it's rounded to 1 unit, so you understand that it has to be, it's not exactly right. So there might be the smallest possible value and the greatest possible value. But this question has nothing to do with rounded. So let's just move on, okay? Okay, obviously we talk about liters, and you should react to liters and milliliters. Look, here is liters of juice, right? And 175 milliliters of juice. So imagine you have glasses, okay? Glasses, 175 milliliters each. How many glasses you can fill? You can pour in this jar, right? So it would be full. So okay, so what we need to write 1.5 liters in milliliters. 1 liter is 1000 milliliters, and I'm very pleased that all of you actually remember that 1 liter is 1000 milliliter and half of liter is 500 milliliters. So you were able to get at least 1 mark on this, okay? And then to find out how many glasses would fit into this jar, many of you were able to divide 1500 by 175. It's not really easy division, so to be honest, I would prefer to use fractions to know how much exactly 175 goes into 1500, or fractions, or you can simply estimate your answer. 175 is approximately 200. 200 goes into 1500 approximately 7 or more. 7 or 8 times. So since 7 will be a little bit small, right? Because, and also 7 times 5, 35. So the final digit, the last digit isn't actually 0. So I would try for 8. Okay, and that's a little bit messy. We shouldn't actually write this way. Okay, so let's start again. We need to divide 1500 by 175, okay, and so as I said, like approximately estimating, we can see that it is 8 and a little bit. How I will check 175 by 8 is 5 times 8 is 40, 7 times 8 56, plus 4 is 16, 1 times 8 is 8, plus 6 14. So we've got 1400 and 100 left, so it is 8 whole and 100 left. 100 is the remainder over 1500, oh sorry, 175. That's what we've been dividing by. So it is 8, and say we can divide by 25. If we divide by 25, we get 4 on top, and 25 goes into 175 4 and 3 times, so 7 times. So the final answer would be 8 and 4 sevens. So full 8 glasses and a little bit go into this jar. But they asked, work out the greatest number of glasses. So you can't say 9, because 9 glasses will not, it will be too much, right? So therefore our answer is 8. That's the end of this question and end of this short video. So I will continue in the next video for other questions. Okay.